I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret, because once you know what I'm about to tell you, your whole perspective on life is going to transform. And you're going to start to see those things that used to seem so negative. You're going to see it with a different outlook and have a different emotional reaction to it. It's going to be a more positive one. You'll see. I appreciate you subscribing right down at the bottom, because you're getting that big manifestation transformation happening right now every time that you look at my videos. I was watching a Bashar video on TikTok today, and I haven't looked at Bashar's videos in a little while now, but this one popped up, and it was basically him talking about the election prediction that he had. And if you've seen it, you've seen it. If you know Bashar, you know who I'm talking about. It definitely somebody to look at, especially from my spiritual community and into manifestation and everything. But the election prediction that he had, people's reaction to it was like, you have people on both ends of the scale. Some people were happy. Some people were like, oh my gosh, I don't trust you anymore. And I'm in fear. So when he was talking about it though, and I was saying that I was just thinking to myself, I was like, okay, people are getting, they're seeing things through their beliefs, which is valid. You're going to see things through your filters, your beliefs. And I felt like they didn't quite grasp what he was saying though. And basically, some people were like, okay, well, you just made us feel fear, and Bashar is just trying to scare people, and his prediction was wrong, even though he didn't say who exactly was going to win. But some people automatically assumed it was one person. So I put in the comments though, because it was like, it came to me. I was like, you know what? I gotta put this down, because somebody's meant to hear this. But basically what I was saying was, and this is the thing that is going to change your life when you understand this. Everything is neutral until you have an emotion about it. I'm going to say it again so that you can write it down. Everything is neutral until you have an emotion, right? Think about it. The election, okay. Lots of emotion went towards that. And even now, a lot of emotion happening around it. And it's a neutral thing. It's just from an energetic stance. It's just as neutral as you not getting the parking space in front of the grocery store. That's how neutral it is. It's as neutral as if you had a store that you went to in childhood, and like for us, we had the pickle store. It was like a person in the neighborhood would sell candy and stuff to the kids. Okay, something like that. And let's say that they shut down, and now that nostalgia feels a bit tarnished to you, and you feel sad. Like, oh, that's neutral. All of those things are neutral. If you get a bill, unexpected bill, that is neutral. The moment you put a meaning onto that thing and it triggers a belief that you have, a limiting belief, that is when you start labeling it as positive or negative based off of the belief that you have. So if you get an unexpected bill, that is neutral, right? Just like that election is neutral. But you get that bill, and then you're just like, and then you get an emotion. You're like, oh my gosh. And you're frustrated. Like, oh my gosh, this always happens. Every time I get to a certain amount, I get an unexpected bill. Okay, so now you have a limiting belief that's being triggered, right? That limiting belief is tied to that frustration, that low vibe emotion. And the limiting belief is tied to an experience that you've had, right? Yeah. So it all goes together. That's the only reason you're saying it's negative. Because somebody who makes more than enough money sees the bill and they're like, oh, I'm grateful that I got this because I really needed to go to the doctor that day. So, and even going back to the election, that is neutral. That whole thing is neutral. Because you got to remember that you're shifting into realities based off of your beliefs and your emotions. So what looks like one thing to one person can look like completely different to the other person. So based off of the election, if you're all happy and excited that like, okay, great, you know, and then the other person is in fear, like, oh my gosh, I'm fearing for my life. Okay, the same event happened for both people, but you got two completely different reactions. It's because it's hitting and triggering limiting beliefs and unprocessed emotions that you have. So when you can address that and shift, you can shift the limiting belief and you can process and release those unresolved emotions, you will feel better. And it won't matter who won, who has been. It won't matter because you're going to be in the reality where you feel happy and you feel positive, and that's going to reflect in your reality. So the events that keep unfolding, you're still going to get the positive effect of it because you are in that vibrational frequency. That is what's determining everything, that vibrational frequency, right? And it's interesting because, so I went, for the first time ever, y'all, I went live on TikTok. And for the longest, I was like so scared to go live. I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know if I can talk for that long. What if I say something? What if I put too many ums in there? Like I was just, and for the longest, I put it off. But one morning, a few days ago, or a couple days ago, sometime this week, some days ago, y'all, I got the inspired action to make a live. And I was feeling excited about it, but oh my gosh, I was so scared still. But it was like both of those emotions were going on. And mind you, I've done a lot of inner development and shifting of beliefs prior to that day. So it's not extremely surprising that that inspired action came to me. It's unexpected, but it's not that surprising that I didn't feel as much fear as I did before. Like before I did shifted limiting beliefs and everything. But nonetheless, I was nervous, extremely nervous. And so I got on there and I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. And I was getting the jitters. And once I turned it on, whew, it was so easy. I was just like a little superstar. I talked for like an hour and 43 minutes. I got to help somebody and some people. I gained new followers and it was fun. And then I thought to myself, I was like, the least of my worries would have been actually like if I can talk for that long or have something to talk about. I never have things to run out with when I'm talking about manifestation and energetics and spirituality and mindset. Like I could go on for days about it. But it felt so good. So now I had that as like, okay, so I can do it. I can go live on TikTok, I can go live on YouTube, I can go live on Instagram. Like it doesn't matter. I can go live. But the point is to reel it all in for y'all. That fear and nervousness was there. Now, if I would have stayed in that state of fear and nervousness and let that consume me and made that emotion my identity, I wouldn't have did no live, y'all. Because it's uncomfortable, right? It's just uncomfortable. Just getting on live. Think about it. Would you be nervous if or scared to go live? Yeah, so think about it like that. But I was able to shift and process these emotions when they came up so that I can do the action. And live in that type of reality. Live in the reality where you are shifting your emotions, processing them, and releasing them so that you will take the action when you do this. You are. And to lay it out for y'all again, everything is neutral. Me going on TikTok live, that is a neutral thing. That's not scary for everybody. That doesn't make everybody nervous, but it made me nervous and scared. But it's neutral. I had a certain belief and meaning I was giving it based off of my limiting beliefs, which was I wouldn't have anything to say. Nobody's going to notice me. People are not going to pay attention to me. They're not going to care about what I talk about. It was a conglomerate of beliefs. So check yourself. Check your beliefs. Check them at the Tao. Okay. And you can see what comes up for you. Once you do something that's scary, stuff is going to come up. It's going to come up before and it's going to come up after probably as well. And that is your time to process those emotions and release them. Identify what the limiting belief was and shift it, reframe it, and you are able to do it. These things are not going to be so scary for you. It's not going to be like this crazy thing anymore. And as I keep learning and just practicing conscious manifestation, my perspective on reality has just shifted, and yours is too. Because you're not going to be looking at this external stuff the same. You're going to see it more from an inner world view. Okay. Oh, wow, somebody cut me off in traffic. Do you get mad? Or are you like, oh my gosh, this doggone person got in front of me and da 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 da. Like, are you doing that? Or are you the type of person that's like, oh dang, dude, calm down. Like, what is your reaction? Because that's going to tell you. Somebody cutting you off in traffic is not a negative thing. It's not a positive thing. It's a neutral thing. Now, the moment you have a meaning for that and it triggers a limiting belief in you or a belief in general, that's when it becomes positive or negative. That's when the emotion is coming out. So then you can see, you're not going to view it like, okay, this person is messing with me. You're not going to see it as an external thing where this person's just trying to mess my day up. All these people are trying to just cut in front of me today. They just want to make my day bad. No, you will come at it from a different inner world view where it's like, okay, so me getting heated because somebody cut me off in traffic. What is really going on here? Process the emotion, do some breath work, right? We're going to process it, release it. And then you start identifying, okay, why am I so angry when people cut me off? Because it reminds me of when I was younger and my dad used to do X, Y, Z. Okay, why? Why does it remind you of that? Because I got in trouble. Okay, why is that so scary that you got in trouble? Because it made me feel so small. Okay, and then you just keep going from there. And then you'll identify what the actual core limiting belief is. You have the core limiting belief, and then see if any emotion is coming up as you identify that, and then do some breath work, release it. Notice where that is. And this is something that I learned too, y'all. You got to be aware of where that emotion is. Because if you are shifting beliefs or you're triggered by something like road rage, like where are you feeling that in your body? Like when I'm doing, a lot of times when I am triggered it depends what it is. If it's like a social thing and I'm triggered, then it's usually like I feel it in my neck a lot of times. It's like, it's there though. And then you just pay attention to where that is and do breath work. It doesn't have to be long breath work by any means. It can just be something quick. And then just visualize it just being released. And as you do that, you will feel much better. You'll go back to homeostasis. You'll be in a good place. And then identify what the limiting belief is. Because the emotion part, that releasing it part, the gears started turning more. And I was like, okay, this is the piece that I was meant to hear. I was meant to know, to release it and do like some real releasing and processing of the emotion. Because once you know where it is and you know how these emotions feel in your body, you can pinpoint like, okay, that's a limiting belief that I got going on and it's all right there. Stuck energy. Release it. You don't have to keep holding on to this stuff, these beliefs and these emotions forever. You don't have to, because not 100% of the time, or I'll say 99% of the time, they're not even your beliefs. It's something that you learned when you were younger. a lot of times. And it's always something that doesn't resonate with you. That's why it feels negative. That's why you have a low vibe emotion, because it does not resonate with you. You're holding on to these emotions and beliefs that do not resonate. That's not who you desire to be. But you keep them locked up like, oh, I'm just going to keep you here. And that's the part. When you don't release these emotions, you keep them there. They're not going anywhere. They don't magically just disappear just because you went to go scroll on TikTok or watch a movie or work out. They don't disappear. They're still there. They're still there from when you were younger. So that's why this is so interesting. It's like always it's like a puzzle piece. Like, oh, I unlocked this part. I got this part, this part, this part, this part. It's really fun. So the more you do it, the more you are going to understand and see it in your reality and start viewing things in your reality from the inner world. Let me know if this helped you. Let me know in the comments down below the biggest breakthrough that you got from this video. And I am so appreciative that y'all have watched this video and subscribe right down at the bottom. I will see you in the next video.